Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello MJ friends, checking in on the sector. Before we get into it, going to just knock a bunch of names off the list because this list is too long and we don't want to be looking at names that we're just saying the same thing over and over. TLRY, all-time lows, dropping to lower lows, every bounce just a daily lower high. Who cares? I'm keeping an eye on these names, but I'm not going to talk about them every day. Hexo, lower low, bear flag on the daily confirmed. Get out of here. So the names that are dropping to lower lows, as we know, if we're going to see a sector sentiment shift, even the weakest names have to participate, and the fact that they're dropping to lower lows does not help the sector sentiment shift that's trying to take place right now. OGI will keep it, but it broke to lower lows. Let's see, who else? C-Web, all-time lows today. Bears in complete control, we've been saying the same thing. Lead USMJ bear, no daily trend change. And again, after saying the same thing for 3 months, just sick of it. They are the lead bears and they are off our lists for now. So CGC, we had some news this morning of Tokyo Smoke, 10 stores opening. I think it was Ontario. Not great with my Canadian geography, but CGC held up way better than its peers today. It was up 0.9%, whereas everybody else, the major Canadian MJ names, were down 3, 5, and 5% essentially. So holding up better. Looking for a daily high or low. Have we changed the hourly trend? The answer is no. We have the high of today, low of today. Anything under 2026 is an hourly lower high. I need to see a clear hourly trend change to be looking for the daily high or low to be established. If we start tomorrow morning with the inability to break 2026, I will potentially be watching for an entry off of 1948 support to be looking for that daily high or low. And then we'll be watching for a lower high compared to 2165 unless we see increasing bull volume. So CGC holding on better than others. And we look at APHA, gave back almost the entirety of the move. So easy to not have FOMO in this sector when we continue to see short-term bull bursts with zero follow-through. The low was 464, we topped out at 536, and we pulled all the way back to 471. Bounce at the end of the day, just looking for an hourly lower high, anything under 502. We have to change hourly trends to be looking at a bounce, and then we would look for a daily lower high compared to 536. ACB, on the verge of a lower low. We'll keep watching ACB because it's one of the major players, but it is not doing well. And after 188, the next support level is nowhere in sight because these are levels we have not seen in a very long time. So on the verge of just being a weak daily bounce, doing nothing to change any trend. We could see that. And now we're on the verge of a lower low. Cron. Bulls need to hold support of 658. Potential play off of that level tomorrow. We did not see the hourly bounce that APHA and CGC had into the end of the day. So if we were to see a bear break first thing tomorrow morning, hourly oversold conditions, potential play off of 658, I may be interested in that play. Just looking for an hourly oversold bounce. And again, what are the odds that Cron is able to get back to the recent high of 796? It's a long ways away. On any bounce, we're just looking for a daily lower high. OGI broke short-term support. $2 is the only support nearby. Every bounce, just a daily lower high. This has been the case for an entire month. Lower high, 2, 3, 4 times now. Anything under 250, just a daily lower high. And $2 the only short-term support nearby. CTST has been breaking out in a big way. Short squeeze, absolutely. We had a real tight equilibrium that broke resistance and saw significant follow-through. Volume climax based on the volume in the candlestick shape. And if we see a loss of the hourly uptrend, let's say the bulls show up tomorrow morning, fail to break 134, and then drop down and break 116, we'll be in an hourly downtrend, which means zoom out and look for a daily higher low to form. Is there news behind this? Maybe. A lot of people speculating that's possible. But it's also I mean, think of how many shorts are in this name over the last few months. So getting over the highest prices that we've seen in the last month plus definitely starts a short squeeze chain reaction. But it's looking like that's temporary. Top is set for now. And as we've been talking about, the weekly resistance for me, it's all about 158. And if we don't break 158, it's just a weekly lower high. And we may need a weekly higher low to then form if we are unable to break 158. VFF, bear close, short-term support is 575 and 561. And the bears are still in control. Weekly bear flag close to confirming. Labs topping out, big red candle today. So the weekly time frame, we were looking for a weekly lower high. That is now set at 418, and now it's up to the bulls to hold 333 support. Bulls have to hold that level and break 418 to change the weekly trend. VLNS, still healthy consolidation, probably some of the healthiest consolidation we've seen out of anybody in the sector. Still just looking for a daily higher low, anything above 295, and no red flags. A little bit of a double top at 363 and 364, but just looking for a daily higher low to form now that we have broken some key resistance. So out of everybody that we just looked at, VLNS is the best setup on the daily time frame. OGI, VFF, ACB are among the weakest. Keeping an eye out for a CGC hourly higher low tomorrow. Keeping an eye out for a cron play off of that support I was talking about. But otherwise, bulls have a long way to go to get this sector excited again. On to US. IIPR, it's been choppy the last week and a half, but we're still looking for this weekly higher low to form, and it's been basing out. Inside bar last week, so it's still an inside bar here. I would love to see a rejection from 78.42 tomorrow morning, and then a potential entry on a 4-hour higher low at 75 or 76, using the recent 71.90 low as a stop, and then looking for a bull break on the daily time frame to convincingly set our weekly higher low and make our way up towards 87.20 resistance. Still looking at the bigger picture for a monthly equilibrium, trying to set this monthly higher low and get some bounce follow through. Cureleaf, big red day today, closing near the low. Short-term support is 765. If 765 breaks, it's going to be a lot more convincing that a weekly equilibrium is our most likely scenario. Low, high, higher low, lower high. And we'll look for a weekly higher low compared to 690 if we see a bear break of 765. OH, daily inside bar broke bearish, but no real bear follow through. 536 is the first support as we look for a daily higher low to form. Consolidation on OH is healthier than CL. CL closed at its low, 817, lowest price we've seen on current consolidation. Bulls need to hold 726, but this pullback from the high, percentage-wise, is much more significant than OH is currently seeing. IAN, pulling back, looking for a daily higher low as well. 191 will be a support level. Hourly oversold conditions, when we get there, we're not close. I was going to say I would be keeping an eye out for a daily higher low when we get hourly oversold, but we're not close to that at this point. Still just looking for a daily higher low compared to 167. GTII daily inside bar. If it breaks bullish, that's a healthy higher low on declining bear volume. If it breaks bearish, then our daily higher low has not been established yet. This is one of those scenarios where if we set the higher low at 1180, continuation is favored. If we break 1180, equilibrium will then be favored. Harv, also holding on just fine. Daily inside bar, if we break it bearish, daily consolidation to form the higher low is underway. And MedMen needs to see a break of 75 cents to try and set a weekly higher low to try and change this weekly trend. A lot of small caps are running. While we're trading sideways in the MJ sector without a whole lot going on, small caps are running, and you just have to be careful because you know there are dozens of trading groups like the Chart Guys out there, and it's certainly not something that we at the Chart Guys do, but on these names that have average volume of $300,000 a day or $600,000 a day, with the hundreds of members that we have trading Canadian MJ, we could so easily orchestrate what the chart looks like. With that low dollar volume, when you start getting hundreds of people together, compiling capital, again, we don't ever do that, but other groups do. So I'm always skeptical of low cap pumps because I always assume that there's a group that's already loaded up and they're just looking to sell into that pump. And all it takes is a few $100,000 to kick it off and see a bull move go. Just be cautious of trying to chase short-term runners because the major names in the sector are boring. Other than that, things are still weak. We had a one-day exciting move 3 days ago, which hasn't followed through in any way, shape, or form, which is keeping us patient in this sector and waiting for signals that the momentum shifts have indeed taken place and have seen follow through. So that's where we stand. I've traded a lot less MJ the last week plus, probably the last 2 weeks, just remaining picky and making the bulls prove it to me. So I hope you had a good weekend, and we will check back in tomorrow. So some updates around the property here. You are witnessing the birthplace of a lot of the recent educational videos. I have a routine of getting in here every night and stretching, part of my wind down routine after markets close, but I also have a waterproof pen and paper that I dictate lots of the video ideas on as I brainstorm. There's also some confused bulbs that I planted earlier. They're starting to come up already, so I might have to cover them up as they're going to get too cold here. It's far too soon for that to be happening January 2nd. Got a fence put in to keep out the bears and deer and turkeys and all that fun stuff in the spring when these garden beds are popping off. Also looking forward to trellising a bunch of cucumbers and peas and beans and things along the fence for some extra space. And we got our first snow last night, just a little light dusting, not sticking around very long. And that's January 2020.